What's going on, guys? Failed to listen. Welcome back to more Failed Thoughts. And in this video, I think it's finally time for me to discuss the purchase I have made with this 144 hertz monitor, G-Sync, 1 millisecond, all that good stuff. Is it worth it? Should I have made the jump? Do I regret the jump? Do I regret spending the money? Should you make the jump? Should you consider investing money into something like this? And all I can really say is that where has this been all my life? Why did I not make the jump sooner? I think a lot of that is also just because I was waiting for the right monitor, something that ticked all of, or at least most of the bells and whistles that I wanted. And I think this monitor does that. It's shy a feature or two, but I'm willing to deal because of the performance that I get. And let me just say this. I think I remember playing a lot of the older games that I enjoyed when I built my first PC, because I've always had a PC, I've always gamed on PC. But when I built my first pretty capable one with my 570, that was different. Playing some of those older games at 60 FPS, while they're the same story and have the same gameplay as, another PC version or a console version of that same game, whatever the case may be, they feel like completely different games. It's so much more immersive. You're having a lot more fun, especially if you're, talking about fast-paced games or, Twitch games where it would require, really quick movements and things like that, especially on keyboard and mouse. Making that jump from 30 to 60, I had always said even then that these just feel like completely different games now. And once again, making that jump from 60 even to 80 or 90, and then you start getting up, to 100 or more, even more so, they just feel like completely different games. It's so much better. Watching things animate at those frame rates is just completely ridiculous. I could not go back. I'm not saying, again, like I've mentioned in previous videos, I'm not saying that I couldn't play games at 30 FPS or even 60 FPS ever again. If I'm interested enough, I'm going to play. But if I just have mild, moderate interest in your game, and you've locked it at 30 and you've locked it at 60 or something, I'm probably going to wait on that game to be a much cheaper price. I'm not going to give you, anything close to full price. But a lot of games anymore, regardless, I don't usually give, full price to. But I have played a number of games now at over 100 FPS, 90 FPS, 80 FPS, and it's just a completely different world. Playing Bioshock Infinite, which still is one of the best looking games that you can play, whether you're talking about console or PC. Playing that game, with a frame rate that will go between 120 to even 230 FPS or something. That game is ridiculously well optimized. Playing that game at those frame rates it just feels like a completely different experience. I just feel more immersed. Shout out to a couple of my PC buddies that hate that word. A lot of people don't like the word immersed. They feel like it's overused and people get a little too carried away, but you do it feels better. I would say this, right? The question becomes, is it worth it? For me, it's absolutely been worth it. I would say if performance to you is everything, like it is for me, and also you play a lot of competitive games, which I play very few of these days, maybe one or two here and there. If I buy Gears, which I probably will, considering it's really well optimized on PC, I will probably play the multiplayer a little bit and see if I still have it. I was a god at those games, an absolute god. So if I can get it and start to feel it again, maybe I can meet up with Hard 8 and BG and some of those guys, and we can throw down. Anybody can put me on their team. I don't want anyone fighting over me or anything. I know I'm a beast. I know I'm a god, but you guys don't have to fight over me. I'm willing to jump. Play the all-time quarterback, if you will. I can be the quarterback on Hard 8's team or Kid Smooth's team, however you guys want to do it. I think, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. PC gamers and Xbox gamers can play together with some of these latest Windows games. If I'm wrong about that, please correct me, but that's going to be fun. So when I'm ready to jump into that, I'll let those guys know, because I would like to play with some people I know, as to, just opposed to playing with a bunch of randoms. A lot of the guys that I used to play Gears with, they don't really play video games anymore, or we've just kind of lost touch or whatever. So, yeah, competitive games. You got stuff upcoming like Battlefield and Titanfall, and of course another Call of Duty. Games like that on a monitor like this, you're really, really going to benefit. As I mentioned recently in some of those Red Dragon videos, huge advantage over someone that would be playing at like 30 or 60 or something, or even 70. For that matter, if like someone's playing at 70 and you're a really good player and they're a really good player and you're playing at like 110, that's a huge advantage that you're going to have over that person. So I would say that, yeah, performance is everything, and you play quite a few competitive games, especially if we're talking those that I just mentioned, or, you're looking to get into League of Legends, or you're already involved in League of Legends, or CSGO or Dota, whatever it is, StarCraft, stuff like that, then yeah, absolutely, something like this is totally worth it. I could not go back if I was given the option to tweak higher than 60 FPS. I couldn't do it. It would be unacceptable to pay like this money for not only the new monitor, but like my setup in general. And here pretty soon I'm going to have another PC that's going to be like, doing... I'm going to have this PC doing a lot of the workload stuff for rendering and streaming, and that PC is going to be like my new gaming machine. I'm going to swap out my 980 Ti and put that in the new machine, and then I think I'm going to put like a 1060 in this one that I have now, and like I said, just have this one do all of that stuff. So it's going to get interesting on this channel, on my Twitch channel, and we're doing some big things, some interesting things. Performance is everything. It affects the way you play. It affects how games feel. I think so. Yeah, absolutely. Something like this is worth it. And like I said at the beginning of the video, like, where have you been all of my life? Like, why didn't I make this jump? Now, you don't have to spend what I spent. You know what I mean? Like, you can spend, there's monitors that do a few of these things, 144 hertz, 1 millisecond, for like $150, $200. Like some of the cheaper ones, if you just want that, you can have it. Like this one has a few extra bells and whistles like G-Sync and some stuff I didn't even really know about or ask for. So you don't have to spend what I spent, you know what I mean? But when I spend on PC stuff, I don't always need the best, but I kind of like to have the second or third, type of the best, I guess is the best way I can put that, just off the top of my head without editing this video in any way. So yeah, that's my video, man. I think if I do feel, especially like I said, if you play a lot of shooters and stuff and you're very, very overly competitive and you get super serious and you like to rage a lot, then yeah, something like this is for you. You're holding yourself back, especially in a competitive game, but now I even feel held back as a single player, like more of a single player guy. I just feel held back, playing at 60 for so long. It just feels so much better to play at 90, 100, 110, so on and so forth. It's a different world, guys. It's a different world. It's a better world on top of that. But I would recommend it, absolutely, if those things are important to you. So that's my perspective. That's where I stand on 144 hertz and better performance, higher frames. And some of you already knew my stance on this stuff, but I'm just trying to help you out if you didn't. If you're watching this video for the first time and maybe thinking about hitting that subscribe button, that's where I stand. I'm trying to think of a game like even Witcher 3. I was getting like 85 to 100, 105 frames in that, with the settings that I like. If I were to turn down a couple of things to high, or adjust a couple of other things, I'm sure I could get like 120, 130, something like that. But I like Witcher 3 where it's at. It's still better than 60, so I'm gonna keep Witcher 3 where it's at. I played Dying Light. Dying Light is extremely well optimized. I was getting anywhere from like, I don't think I ever dropped below like 120, 115, something like that. But I was definitely getting beyond 144 in that game a lot. Obviously, I had to see Resident Evil 5 because that's a game that we'll dedicate a video to at some point. It's one of the most best well optimized games of all time for PC. Stuff like Resident Evil 4, I'm pretty sure there's no option to turn VSync or anything like that off in that game. Maybe somewhere in the files or something. But even still, even if I can watch and play the game mostly at beyond 60 frames somehow with a game like Resident Evil 4, the reload animations and some of the other stuff still animates at 30 FPS in that game. So it's a little jarring even when you play at 60, but still it's one of the greatest games ever. So Bioshock Remastered, played that. Crazy, right? The one game that I will say, and I'm sure that some of you, this isn't a surprise, the one game that gave me some struggles, and I could only get about 75, 80, 85 frames, couldn't really go beyond that, was Fallout 4. I was a little disappointed. That game just, it has issues. And this was in the Far Harbor DLC. I don't know if that's maybe a little bit more demanding than, say, the base game. Maybe if I went back to the base game, it would be different. But I was having some struggles getting that game to where I would like it. GTA 5, I think I mentioned that. Amazing playing that game at like 100 FPS or more. So, excuse me. And I plan to play more. I plan to talk about it a little bit more. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section. And I think that's going to do it. I think it's going to wrap it up for this video. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And like I said, if there's any questions, if there's anything you wanted to say about it, let me know. And yeah, man, 60 might be the new 30. 60 might be the new 30. I'm not saying 60 is bad, but it might, for me, it might slowly become the new 30 if it hasn't already. So that's the video. That's my take. And thank you guys very much for watching, man. Take it easy. Peace.
For you news junkies, we're about to take a news break.
I boxed in the Marines, you fuckwad. No count asshole.
Oh,
Get
yes, son?
stuffed, prick.
You like dance? Fine, let's dance. Hey, total fuckhead.